People like to talk big on social media. They say extradition is a myth. They say the FBI only chases shadows. They say once you're in Ghana, once you blend in, once you stay quiet, you are safe. That lie has destroyed many people. And the story of Olusegun Samson Adejorin is one of the clearest warnings. Anyone involved in cyber fraud, business email compromise, or international financial crime will ever get. This is not a story built on rumors, street talk, or spiritual interpretations. This is a story backed by arrests, extradition, trial, conviction, and an upcoming sentencing date. It is the kind of story that separates online noise from real consequences. On December 29th, 2023, while many people in Accra were preparing for end-of-year celebrations, while others were busy posting luxury lifestyles online, a quiet but devastating operation was unfolding. United States Federal Bureau of Investigation agents, working hand in hand with Ghanaian authorities, arrested Olusegun Samson Adejorin, a Nigerian national, right here in Accra. No drama, no leaks, no early warning, just precise coordination. Adejorin was not arrested for petty crime. He was arrested for an alleged 7.5 million United States dollars business email compromise scheme. Not thousands, not hundreds of thousands, millions. Real money, institutional money, charity money, money meant for public good, according to evidence later presented in a United States federal court. Adejorin orchestrated a sophisticated scheme between June and August of 2020. He targeted two charitable organizations, one based in Maryland and another in New York. These were not careless individuals responding to random emails. These were structured organizations with systems, staff, and safeguards. And yet, they were breached. The scheme was not magical. It was methodical. Adejorin allegedly gained unauthorized access to employee email accounts belonging to the Maryland-based organization that provided investment services. Once inside, he did not rush. He observed. He learned communication patterns. He understood approval chains. He studied tone, timing, and trust. He then registered spoofed domain names that looked almost identical to the legitimate domains used by the New York charity. This is where many people underestimate fraud. It is not about flashy hacking scenes. It is about patience and precision. A single misplaced letter in a domain name can move millions of dollars. Using those spoofed domains, Adejorin impersonated employees of the New York charity and sent withdrawal requests to the Maryland organization that was holding the investment funds. But he didn't stop there. He also accessed real email accounts of the Maryland organization and used them to falsely confirm the fraudulent withdrawal requests. That double-layer deception is what sealed the deal. At that point, the system believed it was communicating internally with trusted parties. No alarms, no panic, just routine transactions. And that is how over 7.5 million United States dollars was transferred from the legitimate investment accounts into bank accounts that did not belong to the charity. Money moved. Trails were created. Evidence was logged. What many fraudsters fail to understand is that financial systems remember everything. Emails leave logs. Domains leave registration trails. Bank transfers create records. IP addresses do not vanish. Even when criminals think they are careful, time becomes their enemy. After investigations, Adejorin was extradited from Ghana to the United States. That single fact alone should end all debates about whether extradition works or not. He was not a politician. He did not have diplomatic cover. He did not have political offense arguments. He was accused of clear federal crimes under United States law. His case went to trial in Greenbelt, Maryland. 6 days. That's all it took. 6 days for a federal jury to examine evidence, hear testimony, and reach a verdict. The verdict was guilty. Wire fraud, aggravated identity theft, unauthorized access to a protected computer, not accusations, convictions. Kelly O. Hayes, the United States Attorney for the District of Maryland, announced the guilty verdict alongside the FBI Baltimore field office. This was not a quiet case. This was a statement. The FBI wanted it known that international cyber fraud cases do not disappear just because time has passed or because the suspect relocated. Adejorin now faces a maximum of 20 years in federal prison for each of the 5 counts of wire fraud, 5 years for unauthorized access to a protected computer, and a mandatory 2-year sentence for aggravated identity theft that must run consecutively, not concurrently, consecutively. That means the clock does not run together. It stacks. Sentencing is scheduled for April 10th, 2026. And while federal judges often impose sentences lower than the maximum, make no mistake, this is not a slap on the wrist situation. This is life-altering. Now, here is where this story becomes bigger than Adejoren himself. This case exposes the illusion many fraudsters live under. The belief that being quiet saves you. The belief that having no visible assets protects you. The belief that operating offshore shields you. None of that stopped this case. Adejoren was not loud on social media. He was not flaunting cars. He was not trending. And yet, he was tracked, arrested, extradited, tried, and convicted. The FBI did not rush him. They waited, they gathered evidence, they coordinated internationally, they moved when everything was ready. This is the same pattern Wicked Blogger Ghana has been pointing out for years. When the FBI moves, it is not for questioning, it is for closure. This case also exposes another uncomfortable truth. Charity organizations are not immune. In fact, they are attractive targets because of trust-based operations and large pooled funds. That does not excuse the crime. It explains the motive. The implications for Ghana, Nigeria, and the broader West African cybercrime space are serious. Ghana is no longer a safe waiting room. Arrests are happening locally. Extraditions are happening quietly. Trials are happening abroad. Convictions are happening fast. For those watching cases like Abu Trika, Kofi Boat, Agony Pascal, Dada Joe Remix, and others, this story should settle arguments. The FBI does not bluff. They document, they build, they execute. Adejoren's case also shows why people who think deleting emails or switching devices saves them are lying to themselves. The evidence presented in court came from actions taken years earlier. Time did not protect him. It trapped him. There is also a lesson here about identity theft. Using someone else's name, email, or authority is treated severely under United States law. The mandatory 2-year sentence for aggravated identity theft alone changes everything. For anyone thinking that hiding behind intermediaries, mules, or layered accounts makes them invisible, this case says otherwise. The money moved, the system noticed, the trail was followed, and here is the final reality many refuse to accept. Adejoren's arrest did not happen because he made noise. It happened because the damage was real, measurable, and within United States jurisdiction. Once American victims are involved, once American institutions lose money, distance stops mattering. Wicked Blogger Ghana has said it repeatedly. Fraud is not a spiritual game. It is not luck. It is not about who shouts loudest online. It is about evidence, patience, and law enforcement that does not forget. Olusegun Samson Adejoren is now living proof of that truth. And for those still debating whether extradition works, whether the FBI follows through, or whether international fraud cases fade away, this story answers all of it without shouting. The system watched, the system moved, the system convicted, and sentencing is still coming.